Welcome to today's video from a slightly blustery Cornwall. I am going to be showing you a new oil painting that I have started, and I also go back to doing a little bit of textiles, a bit of applique, a bit of free motion embroidery, which I haven't done in ages, so that's fun. And I go out and do a little bit of plein air sketching, which is a little bit soggy and ends up mostly being cafe based. But I hope you enjoy just having a little look at what I've been up to in the studio this week. This is an old sketchbook of mine, and I drew out this composition and just played around with colours quite some time ago, and I wanted to test out to see whether my arm was up to easel action, and I have managed to do some painting, which is exciting. But I just thought I'd show you where the ideas start. I'm not trying to do like amazing little sketches in my sketchbook. They're just getting ideas down and trying things out and maybe playing around with a little bit of colour. Yeah, I kind of played around a little bit more with that. I'm really enjoying this sort of colour palette. So this will be kind of the starting point. It won't be exactly like that. It'll probably morph and change a little bit. But I just thought I would show you a little bit of the process. I draw up the image large to fit the size of canvas that I'm using, and I use copy paper to transfer it, and then I just start to put my ground on in raw umber oil paint. I just start to apply my colour. I'm definitely drawn back to my autumnal colour palettes. This image has been in one of my sketchbooks for a long time, and I have managed to paint at the easel again. I have to keep stopping. My arm is a little bit sore from it, but I really needed to get back to it, and I'm really enjoying the process. I've got to this point, now I get to do the exciting stuff, which is all the detail, which is the bits that I really love, putting stripes and polka dots on and patterns, and I might do a little bit of folkloric kind of pattern on this lady, and then there's going to be lots of sort of bushes swaying in the wind as well. But I've just got to wait for it to dry, so hopefully I'll get to show you some of this on this video. If not, it'll have to be the next one. I've got a background in textiles. I actually studied fashion design originally, and then I did quite a lot of textile courses up in London at the City Lit, and then I taught textiles for about 7.5, 8 years, and I do love textiles, and I really enjoyed teaching it because it kind of challenged my thinking. I had to think about the process, how I could help students put things together, the best process for them to get the best results, and I haven't done any for a while. I just joined a little sort of hand stitching group, a group of ladies that come together, and some people crochet, some people knit, and I thought I better do something if I'm going to come to this sewing class, or the sewing group, and so I just use that lady as inspiration again, and I had all these block printed bits of fabric. So I had some nice linens and this bit of sort of denim-y coloured fabric, and yeah, lots and lots of bits of fabric that I'd hand block printed a while ago, and there were some lovely patterns and lovely colours, and I just thought, well, rather than printing a whole load new fabric, I'm sure that there's things that I can do with all these scraps. So I'm basically playing around at the moment, and I've done these sort of rainbow patterns, and they're kind of quite nice, have upturned as the top of flowers and things. So yeah, I'm just sort of, and obviously like this is called applique, applying another fabric to a backing fabric, but really it's very similar to any form of collage. You're just collaging or appliquing with fabric, and yeah, I mean, there's different, obviously we're not using glue. I put bundleweb on the back and then cut the pieces, and then the bundleweb irons to the base fabric. But I just thought you might quite like to see this. I'm going to do free motion embroidery on it, and I probably do a little bit hand stitch. I love a French knot, so there'll definitely be a bit of French knotting appearing. There might be some French knots as possibly as stars in the sky and that type of thing. But yes, I just thought I would show you this, and I'll show you the progress once it's part way through or when I finished it. I got quite inspired this evening and I couldn't kind of stop. The moon's not finished yet and the French knots are not on, and the back of it will need finishing, but I found there's my cat with dirty wet paws. Hang on a minute. So I found this fabric that I'd printed ages ago and I added it on, and just, I think it's kind of more or less done now. Some French knots, and I added a bit of applique, some spots onto her top, and it just made it a lot more fun. It just looked a bit boring, her apron and her top. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this, and I love all the printed leaves in the trees. And I could have printed the tree trunk and everything and the branches, but I just decided to put some free motion embroidery and sort of colour in with the free motion embroidery foot. I'm going to do maybe some little bits coming out of the top of the flowers and certainly a few little French knots, and then I just have to finish the back off. I had a bit of a play around in my sketchbook with some collage. I splattered a whole load of inks onto these bits of paper, and then I cut out some different collage papers. There's some that had big sort of free kind of spots on, and then this is one where I sort of pulled a fork across with ink, black ink, stuck that down, then the collage loads of little scraps of paper, and then I used my Neo colours to kind of add colour in. Oh no, actually then I put the blue paint on. I just had some I think Prussian blue acrylic paint, and then I added some Neo colour, and then I just added some Neo colour and a little bits of collage. They're not meant to again be finished pieces of art, they were experiments. These ones were a bit kind of bright and cray, but I kind of quite like them as well. I tried putting yellow in between, I tried putting the red in between just to see how it was. I kind of probably feel that this one I prefer. I'm still not sure if I'm loving it, but it was just fun again to have a play, because if you don't try stuff out you don't quite know how it's going to turn out, and you may hate it and you may love it, and it might be something that you then want to continue and develop. So this is what collage does to your floor. Note to self, must brush up. So this is the quick painting collage that I did out on location. Well, let's say I got a little bit down and then the rain came down and I didn't have the right attire on, so I made a run and went back to the cafe and then met some of my group later. Some of them were a bit more hardy than me and stayed out a bit longer, but they had come sensibly dressed with waterproof items and had umbrellas and sensible stuff like that. So I just sat in the cafe and worked on this. It's not quite finished. I think there's another castle-y thing up here. It's at Cambrai in Cornwall, and I just added some more collage details in the cafe, and then I did a little bit more when I got home as well. But I'm kind of enjoying these collaged segments. I like the collaged pieces at the back, and I'm enjoying all the brightly coloured bushes, so it was a fun little study. So first tree on, or first lot of stripes. I love getting the patterns on. This is just the best part. Still deciding what to do with those bushes in the background. Might just do some very, very faint leaves and then leave the detail for the foliage in the front, but I'm absolutely loving the colour of these trees. So I've been putting more details on. I put some spots on her headscarf, little spots on her blouse, stripes on her skirt. I put some leaves in the background. I'm going to put some folkloric patterns, I think, on her pink top, maybe a little bit of pattern on her apron, and then I've got to wait for the paint to dry to put all of the grasses swaying in the wind in the foreground, and I'll put a bit more pattern and detailing on the bird, and then there'll be a few sort of little stars twinkling in the sky. But that's it for today. I will show you the finished article in another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do remember to like, subscribe and comment. All of this really helps my little channel grow, and I always love to get your feedback, hear of the things that you find useful in my videos. You know, if you want things that you'd like to see more of, let me know about that as well. But for today, take care, and I will see you in the next one.